Let me make one final plea, Mr. President. Millions have put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of a loving God. In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meat packing plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation, but the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here.
Blue wave, we rise to save the day. Only me, only you can let our hearts sail away on a blue wave.
So I wanted to open with playing that clip, Anita. That was Bishop Buddy, who
Marion Buddy.
Miriam Buddy.
Bud.
Well, people are saying Buddy, but I don't know exactly how. But it's I've heard people say Buddy. I've heard whatever. It looks like Bud too. Anyway, but I wanted to play that, Anita.
How do you spell
because
it?
It's Budde. So people were calling her.
Oh,
Buddy.
I see. Yeah, I just spelled it B-U-D because, I can't see, so I don't have to worry about spelling. Yeah.
So I wanted to play that though, because, we're all wondering how to handle this, how to go forward, how to resist. And I just really, what struck me about that was an act of resistance and bravery on her part to stand up there and say the words that needed to be
Speak
said.
truth to power is what she did.
That's what she did.
Yeah.
And it was in a very kind and gentle way.
No, it was very respectful.
And very respectful. And it was exactly what needed to be said. And, I both know that Donald Trump, it's not going to make a difference to him, obviously, just based off of, his demands for an apology.
That's what I was just going to say.
Yeah,
the
it doesn't
reactions
matter.
to it
Yeah,
are more telling.
the reactions to it are more telling. And, but the reality of the situation, and even with Republican leadership that have been showing that they are completely caving in and kowtowing to him and, demanding that the bishop, apologize and, whatever. They're going to do their sycophantic stuff, to kiss up to him. But the reality is there are a lot of other people, regular people that is what you hear when you are in a church,
Yeah, but let me just say, the people that are reacting to it that way, they're reacting to it that way because they're afraid. It is what she said struck fear into them because that's true Christianity.
Yes.
And it exposes them.
Yes.
When she says people are scared, well, what are they? Because I heard somebody, a Republican on Fox, call her speech fear mongering because she said people are scared. What she did was tell the truth, and it just kind of they don't know how because what Donald Trump is doing is scary.
Mhm.
And they don't want anybody even to suggest that, because they they talk about him like he's their savior, like he's
Mhm.
close to Jesus, right? He's
Mhm.
like a God emperor.
Yep.
So what she exposed them, and
Yes.
the kind of stuff I heard somebody call her, what she said, demonic on
That.
Fox.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. What did she say?
What did she say? Well, see, and that's it. And you know, and there are people that watch Fox News. There are people that are extreme MAGA, you know, that have moved on actually from Fox News, right? They went over to Newsmax and all these other more extreme platforms. But there are people, you know, older, you know, Republican people that will tune into Fox because it's always consistently more conservative, right? And if they listen to that, and these are people, and I'm going to say that I have some relatives that I know attend Mass, and they hear sermons just like that, and they hear the word mercy. Okay. They hear the word of God and the word of Jesus while they're sitting in the pews at Mass. And to hear somebody on Fox News saying that what she said, which is exactly what most of us hear if we sit in a church service,
Yeah, but I don't think that.
demonic?
Yeah, but
Demonic? Come
yeah, but
on. No, I mean that's too far. That
well,
I
I get
feel
it,
is too
but
far.
what you're still doing, Karen, is you're still expecting these people to somehow, wake up and try to and
I
see the light. That
I'm
it's
not expect listen, let me just say this. Let me be very clear. I'm not expecting any of these people to wake up, but what it is it's pushback. It
it
is
is. Hmm.
exposing. It's exposing
But
them at least to that. I mean, how can you?
no, it
How can
exposes who they are and
it,
who they
ex it
voted for.
well, exactly. And it exposes, but it exposes to the people that they are listening to on Fox News to hear
They know
that.
who they're listening to. Those people know fully well. They turn to Fox because they want to be lied to, because that's what they like. They want to believe that they somehow are right, that they somehow are better than we are, that that they're the ones who are Christian people, but they're not. And what she did was she exposed them. She exposed that. She exposed them for what they really are, which is not. But nothing is going to. They are going to continue to. I think they're going to continue to lie to themselves and continue to turn on Fox to be lied to. Because what did Fox News? What was their reaction? They brought all these people on to talk about how her what she did was demonic. How dare she mix religion and politics?
Oh
Like
yeah,
that's
no,
all the
I mean,
Republican Party
but
does.
oh, I no, I totally get that. But I have to say that it's just like they're going to take this too far, beating up on her because all the just by talking about it, it keeps it out there and more people are going to listen to this and maybe not even just, you know, the Fox News, you know, viewer, but the, you know, playing that and then playing the response by Fox News um talking heads and guests that, you know, I do think that does kind of, show just how far they're willing to go and how bad
I
this is, how bad they've gotten.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to change anybody's mind that watches Fox News.
Well, it
The
could, you
people
know,
that don't, the people that don't, the people that were it's these small group of people that probably that don't watch Fox News, that don't watch anything, that voted for Trump. The people
hmm
that voted for Trump by 19 points were the people
hmm
that least informed,
right,
that don't even turn on Fox News,
right,
that don't turn on anything.
hmm
They just go with their vibe.
right,
And maybe, this kind of thing, because a lot of them voted for Biden in 2020.
right.
And they
Right.
turned around
So
and voted for
maybe,
Trump.
yeah. So maybe it is going to be that group of people where, you
Yeah.
know, because, you know, they're basically creating, you know, making themselves the news with their responses to it.
Yeah.
So when you pay, you know, you play her and then you hear the way they're, you know, responding, yeah, then maybe that's the people that need to hear it. So, you know, you had sent me this thing and, you know, just how what they are doing, the response to her was very, very much what they did in
Well,
the 1930s.
Nazi Germany.
Yeah,
Yes.
Nazi Germany. So I'm
Well,
going to
what,
let you go ahead and speak to
well,
that.
what they did, because the Nazi National Socialism, Nazism, which is not socialism, okay?
Yeah.
Because yeah, I know the right likes to say that, but National Socialism, they could not. They were trying to get rid of Christianity. They wanted their Nazism to be their religion, because Christianity teaches things that do not fit with Nazism, like mercy, like charity,
Mm-hmm.
like the things that, the Bible talks about, like Jesus talks about, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the same thing that's happening now, I think, with MAGA.
Right.
Christianity does not fit in there. What she was talking
Mm-hmm.
about the scared children
Yes.
and LGBTQ children, or the scared, children who are afraid their parents are gonna be deported, or they're gonna be
Mm-hmm.
separated, or things like that. And so, the reaction from these people calling it demonic,
Mm-hmm.
and just huge backlash. Like, you notice they never talk about what she actually said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that was true Christianity. She talked about,
Yes. That's what Jesus said.
yes,
That's
and
what
they can't
Christ
think they
said.
cannot allow, because
Mm-hmm.
even these Christians, these national, what are they called?
The
National
Christian nationalists.
Christian nationalists. They cannot. They never talk about Jesus. They never talk about what Jesus, the
Mm-mm.
Gospels. They don't talk about what Jesus said. They only
No.
talk about, Old Testament shit, like, they're anti-gay, or
Mm-hmm.
even then, they only have that one thing from the Bible
Mm-hmm.
about men not laying with men. I mean, which, there's a lot of things in the Bible,
Right.
in the Old Testament, like not eating
Mm-hmm.
shellfish,
Mm-hmm.
like being put to death if you disrespect your parents. I don't think they would go along with that.
Stoning
Stoning,
adulterers.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly, stoning adulterers.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was my point, was that Christianity doesn't fit with MAGA,
Right.
and yet these people consider themselves the most Christian of all.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Which, I think John Fugel saying is that all, time and time again, it's show us one piece of legislation that Republicans have presented that have anything to do with the teachings of Jesus, any policy,
they don't.
they
Yeah,
don't.
you can
Yeah.
ask them that. What is it you believe that? What do you believe that Jesus taught? What is it that you think that fits your beliefs
Mm-hmm.
that Jesus
Yes.
taught?
Yeah. Bring me your children in their bulletproof backpacks.
Right.
And yes,
I mean, Donald Trump is the most.
and put them to work in a factory,
Well,
in a
Donald
meat
Trump
packing
himself is,
plant.
yes, disgusting and not Christian.
Mhm. No. Yeah. Send me your 12-year-old girls so me and my sick friend, human trafficking, sex trafficking friend Jeffrey Epstein can fight over who's going to be able to have sex with them.
What does it say?
That's
The meek shall inherit the earth. Think
hmm
about that. Look at the
Yeah,
people that Donald Trump surrounds himself with.
right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do think, again, I think that we are entering a time when people are going to have to step forward with a lot of bravery. And I, for one, so appreciate um, Bishop Marion Buddy for speaking truth to power, as you said, and, just being brave enough to stand up to this because it is what is needed. And I mean, she didn't do herself any favors with the way we, hear, Trump supporters and, I mean, I was watching, of course, he then this week did a blanket pardon for all J6 terrorists. And I've seen, the interview on Joy Reid with Michael Fanone and his mother, and how his poor mother, I mean, it's like he lost his job. He suffered severe head trauma and a
He
heart
had a heart
attack.
attack or two heart attacks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he and it had to, go through this, and he's cooperated with or worked with the January 6th committee to tell his story, and then his mother has been, what do you call it? Oh God, where they release, they send like police cars, what is that called?
Swatting.
Swatted. Yeah. So she was swatted and then she was out just this past fall raking leaves and a black pickup truck came by her house and threw a paper bag at her. And she, because she didn't know what was in it, she went inside the house and, just kind of waited a few minutes, because she was like, I didn't know if it was a bomb. And then she went back out there and it was a bag full of feces.
Yeah, what that Brian Sesnick's family is freaking out too. They're very upset. Think
Yeah.
about that guy died as a
Right.
result of what happened on January 6th. He
Yeah.
died on January 7th.
Yeah.
What was he, like 40 years old? So, all these people that say nobody died. I
Right.
mean, yeah. So Brian Sesnick would have died on January 7th. If January 6th hadn't happened. I don't think so.
Right. No. He
Of
was a
course
health.
not.
Yeah.
And how
So,
many of cops committed suicide right after that as a result
oh,
of January
yeah.
6th?
Yeah.
Like five?
Five, I think, yeah, that was roughly about it. But, the point being, it's like these people are never happy. They are violent. Just completely amoral,
And it's yes, it's funny because they talk about these. I mean, just yesterday they were talking about this. Remember, AOC was, talking about this about how this Lincoln Riley bill
mm-hmm,
that would end like due process for undocumented immigrants.
mm-hmm,
And and because they say they're criminals, these people, it's such an emergency. Marjorie
mm-hmm,
Trader Green was saying these people are criminals. It's that, there's all these horrible things are happening all over our streets because these people are just such criminals and they're violent. And yet he's releasing 1,500
mm-hmm.
criminals,
Right.
much of whom were violent, beating up on cops,
Right.
crapping on the Capitol, inside the Capitol, rubbing it on the walls, stealing things from inside there, and yet they don't see, those people are just going free on our streets now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just doesn't. It's such a there's such a
No.
bunch. They don't care about anything. None of this.
They
When
don't
they
care.
talk about it, it's all to try to, I guess, in pursuit of their own power. They'll
Right.
use anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they'll demagogue on anything.
But
No matter who gets hurt. Yeah.
they're back the blue, pro police, and it's like no, they are pro authoritarian. They are for the police when they are killing black and brown people, when they
Yes.
are acting as autocrats and
They don't believe the law should apply to them.
no.
So when they talk about those things, they're not talking about for themselves. That is why so many Republican politicians commit crimes, and they are corrupt and shown to be corrupt, and Republican voters don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's a Democrat, oh my
Right.
God, you'll
Right.
have hearing after hearing after hearing.
Right. Yeah. Well, and you spoke about this bill, and I think it is worth mentioning because I think part of how we engage and how we are active in this moment is also by calling our Democratic leadership and thanking them when they do speak out and speak truth to power and really highlight and amplify and bring to the attention the all of the horrible things that Donald Trump and the Republicans are doing when they stand on the hall, in the halls of Congress. It is extremely important for them to be speaking the truth, and it's also our duty as well to call those who kind of go along to get along. And so, you brought up the Lake and Riley Act, and apparently were 12 Democrats.
Yeah. Well, there's always, I guess, I thought there were more. 12, I'm not surprised about.
Right.
There's going
And
to be some
so,
Democrats go along
and,
with that.
and so I just want to, for the sake of, for our listeners to know, to bring this to their attention, that if you are in, their state, in their states, that it is worth picking up the phone and calling them and expressing how you feel about them going along and voting for it and finding out why. So I'm just going to name them real quick. Catherine Cortez Masto from Nevada, John Fetterman from Pennsylvania, Ruben Gallego from Arizona, Maggie Hessen from New Hampshire, Mark Kelly from Arizona, John Ossoff from Georgia, Gary Peters from Michigan.
Michigan,
Yeah, Jackie Rosen from Nevada, Jean Shaheen, who
New
is
Hampshire.
from New Hampshire, Elisa Slotkin from Michigan, Mark Warner, who is from Virginia, Raphael Warnock from Georgia.
Yeah, but you know why? Because they're from Georgia.
Right,
That's why. The people that you just said are all from these like swing states or red states.
right. So
They,
from border states?
yeah, they're from swing states or they're from red states like
Right,
Georgia.
right. So you're saying, but here's the thing though, and I understand business as usual, what you're getting at with that. You're
Mhm.
in a different time.
Look, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's the explanation. That's probably they're
Yes.
probably. I mean, I don't agree with it. I think we have to stand by, some, what we believe in, and
I think
I
that there is what were we saying before about how when President Obama came to power, right? And there was all these things that needed to be fixed and addressed right away. And the Republicans, instead of, working, they obstructed everything. This is a time to, um, my opinion, obstruct anything that they want to do. You're not
no,
as
I agree.
concerned,
No,
especially, I mean,
yes,
somebody like Ruben Gallego. Ruben Gallego is a freshman senator. He
but he's
just
from
came in.
Arizona.
I
Yeah,
understand, but he's
he
got
has
six
6 years.
years,
Yeah. Well, wait a
right?
minute. Yes, I guess he does. Yes, he has 6 years.
He has 6 years. So
Yep.
my point is, this is not business as usual. This isn't politics. We don't know. We have no idea what's going to happen in 4 years. I mean, if past is prologue, we sure as the hell know that Donald Trump isn't going to,
Let me.
leave peacefully if he's still
Well,
alive. You
now
know?
that kind of segues into what I wanted to talk about with the Iraq War, because
Okay. Mm-hmm.
the politicians, Democrats that went along
Mm-hmm.
with the Iraq War,
Mm-hmm.
Hillary Clinton.
Yep.
I mean, yes, she was a senator from New York, junior senator from New York, and that might have had something to do with it. But also, there was a lot of Democrats that just felt pressured.
Right.
They felt like they had to. Remember, they called us traitors and we
Mm-hmm.
were, terrorist
Sure.
sympathizers.
We were unpatriotic
Yeah, all
for
these things that they
protesting.
said about, and in the end, you know, everybody tried to run away from that, right?
Mhm.
From that
Right.
vote.
Yeah.
So, I mean, everybody who voted for it, any Democrat that voted for it. And I can remember, I've told you this, in the primary against Obama and Hillary, I chose Obama because of that vote.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think there might be, that might be something, we need these Democrats should think about. They're doing some what is, they think that right now that it's probably, the smart thing to do, but in the end, it might come back to burn them. And
Yes.
I want to say this, and I also want to bring up the media, because if you
Yeah.
remember during the build up to the Iraq War
Mm-hmm.
and all during the war,
Mm-hmm.
the media was not on our side at
No.
all. The media completely failed us.
Mm-hmm.
And
What? No.
yes,
No.
yes, that's why we should not be surprised that they're doing the same thing right now.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But we had our bloggers and the left, but we were kind of
Mhm.
united
Mm-hmm.
against the media
Mm-hmm.
and the Iraq War and George
Right.
W. Bush.
Yep.
And eventually, now 2004, when he was reelected, I remember we were very depressed. We could not believe.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yes, you remember that?
Yeah. Oh,
And
I remember. I remember you. Absolutely going to work and being so upset, and my
yep.
boss saying to me, "It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay." I'm like, "No, it's not. No, it's
Mm-mm.
not.
No.
It's not gonna be okay." I
Now, what
mean,
does that sound like?
yeah, I know.
So please, people, we need to stay focused and continue to have hope
Hmm.
and stay united.
Yeah. And stay united and really understand the assignment. The
Hmm.
assignment is not to help Republicans. It
Right.
is not, and today, and I was telling you, I guess, and I didn't have a chance to look this up, but Hakeem Jeffries basically said, y'all are acting like you have a mandate here. You don't have a mandate. And if,
Yeah.
and if you think that we're going to, you're going to need our votes to help
Yeah.
you, and
For the debt ceiling.
for the debt ceiling, good luck. We're not going to do it if it means, you're going to be going after people's Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid, you know.
Hmm.
We're not going to
Yeah,
be
we
cooperating
have to.
with you. Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
it is time to fight differently. And,
No, I
and
agree
it's
with
like
that.
people,
Yeah.
because this is a thing, we're already seeing that in the first week they're hurting people. They're already hurting us, okay? And they're going, and more people are going to, the economy is going to tank. We have crops, that are rotting
Yep.
because there's nobody here to pick the produce because
Yep.
people, because they're too
75% of the
afraid.
workers didn't show
Yeah.
up in
Yeah.
Bakersfield, California
What is it going to do? Yeah, exactly. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
to pick oranges. And
Yeah.
so they just rotted.
Yeah.
And so that's going to happen. That is going to affect prices pretty quickly.
Absolutely.
There's
And
also not there's going to be a supply shortage.
sure. And what about, what does it do, in Texas, right? What, 70% of the labor force in
Yeah,
the building and
construction.
construction?
It's
Yeah.
not just it's
Hmm.
construction. Well, here in Texas,
Hmm.
yes, and also agriculture, but there are also meat packing industries like in
Right.
Nebraska
Yep.
and places like that. These
Yeah.
people are not going to show up for work. They're scared. So it
Yeah.
doesn't take him even deporting, 12 million people.
Right.
There are going to be people that are that are scared and aren't going to go to work. And
Right.
now they can pick them up at school, at
Hmm.
church,
Hmm.
at work. I mean, and like they're picking up at restaurants. They're just,
Yeah.
it's
Well, and
very
they're
scary.
already, yeah, well, and they're already showing pictures, as mass deportations have, begun, this shock and awe where they're
Shock
loading
and awe.
people
Yep.
onto cargo planes. And, and there too, that is very much reminds me of, tactics that Vladimir Putin or, that these, like Hitler, where you
Yeah.
have the pictures, you have the images. These are the examples. This is what we're doing. And it's like it almost then um to
No, it creates that fear,
it creates the
Yeah.
fear. Yeah, yeah, so it creates the fear and it also kind of does, people were like, "Well, how are they going to pay for it? How are they going to be able to carry
They don't
this out?
have
How
to.
are they don't
Yep.
have to." That yeah.
Yeah. Because, and not only that, they wouldn't be able to do it because these people are pretty incompetent
Yes.
and stupid.
Right.
So, so yes,
Exactly.
they have that, but they don't have to. They're just going to make people be afraid.
Hmm.
So,
It's
like
it's
75% of the
performative,
people.
it's political
Yep.
theater, right? And it's to intimidate. And so
Yep.
it's working. It's working.
It's
And
like
so
what he's doing with the media.
hmm
I mean, we see it already. The media is
yeah,
backing down.
right.
He didn't, CBS gave him $15 million in a lawsuit they were going to win,
Hmm.
that George Stephanopoulos lawsuit.
Yeah.
And they would have won that lawsuit. And I'm sure that a lot of the media is looking, going, do I really want that?
Hmm. Hmm.
Do I want to get embroiled in these lawsuits? He's already, it's already working for him, this kind of intimidation
Yeah.
strategy.
Yeah.
So, and he's also, by suing, going after that woman, what was her name, that did the poll in Iowa.
Hmm.
She did that poll right before the election, and it came out and it said that Trump was behind by like 5 points, and
Right.
it was considered the gold standard. Well, it was just a poll, but he's suing her for election interference because guess what? He's trying to influence polls, people to be afraid to have polls out there that are not good for him.
Right.
So when you start seeing polls, be careful, especially any polls that you don't think, like I saw a poll that had him up, that had Donald Trump's approval at 56%. And I was like, no.
So Anita, are you saying that we shouldn't believe the polls?
Well, now, I mean, no, he's intimidating them.
Yeah.
It's not the same as it was in the election.
No, I know. I'm teasing you. You
Yeah.
know. We've had many, for anybody out there, listening, we've had many, not arguments, right?
Yeah.
But just
No,
I don't we agree to disagree.
Well, I don't believe in just, dismissing the polls.
Dismissing. I know.
And right, but what he's doing, I mean, there are things that I never thought we'd ever have to, not trust.
Right. Right.
I mean,
yeah, exactly. And that's why, and it's bewildering, and we're all having to, I think, in, this moment, readjust, take it in and then readjust the way we have always thought about things, and, try and deciphering what things we can believe. And
are you going to believe it comes out from his labor department?
Exactly.
I mean, seriously,
exactly.
He's already just said there cannot be any kind of communication when it comes to a health crisis, or like,
right.
For instance, the avian flu, which is going around,
right,
which is why eggs are so expensive right now. By the way, everybody complained about that,
right? And they've gone up in price 37%.
37%. Yeah.
Right.
Somebody was telling me, what was it? Almost $14 for a dozen eggs, or 18 eggs, or something like that.
Chris was saying, that they were about $14 for 18 eggs. And I know here, I checked yesterday, and for 18 eggs, it's 11, a little, it's like
I think
about
the
$11.
average is $10. Yeah. But, remember, this election was about egg prices, guys. Yeah. Yeah. And, when we start seeing, produce, jump in price because he's supporting everybody that picks our fruit and vegetables.
Right.
Or when, the tariffs start affecting housing and cars, everything.
And so then it is imperative for Democratic leadership to get out and hold press conferences and talk about this stuff.
I agree.
Every day, I think they should get out there and make a statement about how and why this is happening.
But here's the problem. Donald Trump won because the people, like I said, that were least informed, that don't watch any news, voted for him by like 20 points.
Right.
So people that lived in areas that didn't have districts that didn't have a newspaper, they voted for him by 80 points.
Right.
If they had no newspaper. So these are people that just didn't know anything or didn't care to know anything. So how do we reach those people?
Or like you said, the people that voted for Biden last time.
Right.
And then didn't show up.
Well, they voted for Biden last time because COVID was going on, and they were pissed off that they were sitting at home, but they weren't paying. And maybe that forced them to have to pay attention.
Just wait.
Well, yeah. But my point is that we have to find a way to reach people where they are, because they're not going to watch the news. They're not going to read it. People who read the newspaper, guess what? They vote for Democrats.
Well, and then
read a newspaper, and then you vote for Democrats.
Right. And then that also, goes to, so with the newspapers, these towns where, they get their newspaper and they're not reading about that in the news. So I don't know, is there anything that you can do to reach them? But then there was a lot of talk about going onto these podcasts like Joe Rogan and things like that, and talking about bringing the issues to them, to
Not
where
Joe
they're
Rogan.
listening. Or, I mean, what they were talking about, how Kamala should have gone on Joe Rogan.
Well,
gone
yeah,
on some of these, bro, whatever, bro podcasts and, um, brought the message there. We have to bring, they have to, I think, and we talked about this, Democrats need to go where the conversations are being had. They need to really plug in to progressive talk radio and then go on social media and see what the conversations are being, that are being had.
I think
And
that's
then,
important. Yes.
yes, and then using that information to form their messaging. But
Hmm.
I think it has to be, honestly, multi-pronged and all of the above. And I think that, we talked about this when Roe v. Wade was overturned, and there were these missed opportunities. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but there were these protests going on the Capitol steps, and Elizabeth Warren went out and she spoke, and there were some people, some of these young girls that, because they were blaming Democrats and the Biden
Right.
and
Yeah.
President Biden, and she didn't take that opportunity to push back and clarify it and create a viral moment. And so that's like one of my, but then you have AOC and Jasmine Crockett, and they know how to message and create these
And
viral
still,
moments.
AOC's district, there
Hmm.
were lots of Trump voters that voted for
Right,
AOC and Trump.
right, right,
So we have to find a way to get these idiots. I'm sorry, but they are know nothings that run around who shouldn't even be voting, honestly, because
right,
they don't know anything. And they're
right,
running around and they go and they decide to vote for somebody based on whatever, I don't know, how they're feeling that day, or because prices, because the eggs they had to pay for were too much, or because they can't vote for a black woman or whatever, right?
hmm, right,
But we had to, and yet we were sitting, what were we focused on? We were focused on trying to reach out where Liz Cheney was out there with her and
mm,
other Republicans and trying to
hmm,
get them. We need to stick with what
right.
what we are good at, what we care about.
Right.
What
Listen to the base. I mean, we have to, who was the demographic in this last election that was most disrespected?
the Democrat?
Yeah.
Joe Biden.
Well, no, 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 no. I'm saying the group of people, the demographic that was most disrespected were black women.
Yeah.
Black
Oh, of
women
course. Yeah.
are our base. They
Yeah.
are the Democratic base, and
Yeah.
they were completely fucked.
Yeah. No, I know. And they're pissed off now because,
Yeah.
and I don't blame them.
I don't
I,
blame them at all.
they're very mad at the
Yeah.
people who are, I can't vote for Kamala, Killer Kamala, or Genocide Joe because,
Right.
Gaza.
Right. Right. So
And yeah,
so they voted for Jill Stein, or
or
they
Trump.
stayed home, or Trump. Yeah.
Some of them voted for Trump, and
Yeah.
I'd go on and on about that. I'm so pissed off
Oh.
about that. But we
Mhm.
have to try to stick with what we but like for instance, like Liz Cheney, and her dad, of course, Dick Cheney, who came out
The devil.
endorsed Kamala.
Mhm.
I mean, that sent a terrible message.
Yep.
Here we are. We were right on the Iraq War.
Mhm.
And they have tried to run away from that, right?
Yep.
So why were we out there with the emblems? I mean, the people that most personified
The
that,
faces
the faces of
of
that,
war crimes.
and with neocons, right?
Right.
The neocons. We should not. We were right on the Iraq War. We should have been instead standing with that. The fact that we were right. We have
Right.
been right about a lot of things.
Right.
And so by putting them out there like that, I mean, the people,
Mhm.
you heard it. What do we
Yeah.
what do we hear? Oh, she's going to, start World War III, and Donald Trump's going to, prevent World War III, and he's the peace candidate, which
Right.
is a bunch of bullshit. But they were
Right.
allowed to say that because we were running around with neocons.
Right. Right.
I
Because
mean,
to try and bring over, we have to bring over. No, you don't.
no,
And it did make me really uncomfortable
it made a lot
because
of us uncomfortable.
because
Yep.
it reminded me of, because I feel like our party moved over to the right a little bit, right? And then, but we were coming back over to where we were before, kind of with the FDR,
With Joe Biden.
yeah, with
Joe
Joe Biden,
yes.
exactly. Brought us back over and passed all of these progressive,
The most progressive. Yep.
yeah. And then here we are. We're being dragged, does
I
this
know.
mean that now we have to adjust our platform or adjust how, what we do based off of the fact that now we're bringing, the devil and his daughter, and all of
Yeah.
these people that, were
We're
had
so
to
wrong.
delete. Yeah, we're so wrong. And that are
Yeah.
now, on MSNBC or have, their own podcasts, that try and make us forget that they're the ones that brought us to this fucking point.
And they did that. And now all these Republicans that were with them are embarrassed. They don't want to be reminded of that. They
Right.
want to make sure when they saw, Dick Cheney, and they had to be like, no, well, I'm not going to vote for somebody who's with Dick Cheney.
Right.
And what Dick Cheney, we hated Dick Cheney. What were we doing
Right.
with his daughter who worked for
Right.
him at the time? We
Right.
worked in the government at the time, promoting the Iraq War
Right.
and the neocon vision.
Right.
I
Because
just,
because she only did the right thing. She
yes,
only did the
after she
right
was attacked.
after she was attacked. Her life was threatened. And so
Mhm.
then all of a sudden she wakes her ass up, which, okay, great, thanks, I guess. But this is the thing. She voted with Donald Trump 90+% of the time, and she celebrated the overturning of Roe.
And she
And
lied about it. She
yeah,
lied about abortion.
yep,
She was one of those people, those Republicans.
yep,
They lie about it and say that they want abortions, and women want abortions up to 9 months,
right,
or even after they're born. I mean,
right.
so ridiculous. But
Yeah.
yet she was
So
just saying that before. I mean, it never made any sense.
right. So again, where is the lesson to be learned by our Democratic leadership and the way people operate? So we come back to these 12 Democrats, and I
Mm-hmm.
really think that it's just we as the Democratic base need to be making these phone calls and letting them know, like thanking the ones that are coming out and speaking truth to power and being very plain spoken about the fascist bullshit that we are seeing
Yeah.
happen right now. And then the ones that are going along doing the business as usual, oh, because we're from swing states or whatever, that cannot be the calculation now. That
No, we
can't.
should
It
be.
just can't.
Yeah. No, what we should be doing is just obstructing everything they want to do because,
Right.
yeah, that's what they did.
Mm-hmm.
And we were trying to do good. What are they trying to do? They're not trying to bring down, they're not talking about inflation right now. They're not
No,
talking about prices right now. They're not
no.
talking about helping people buy homes.
No. What did
They're,
they do? President Obama comes in and they pass the ACA after the Republicans had 108 changes to it, but pretended that they had nothing to do with it.
yeah.
And then they campaigned on tearing it
No, we
down.
shoved it down their throats, Karen. That's what they
Right.
say. We
Yeah.
just shoved it after, a year and a half of negotiating
Exactly.
with them and allowing them to make some suggestions and putting it in the bill.
Right. So what
And
they
yet,
need to do is because it's all on them now. Any fucking thing that happens now is all on them. And we
yeah.
have to make sure that everybody knows that it's all on them. Don't look at us. We didn't
Mm-mm.
do this.
Well, speaking of which, you brought up Hakeem Jeffries and what he said. What he was saying was, he's going to use the debt ceiling for leverage because what they're spending on right now is more tax cuts for billionaires and multinational corporations at the expense of
Yeah.
cuts in Medicare and Social Security and Medicaid.
Otherwise known as stealing our fucking money.
Right, stealing our money so billionaires,
Right.
multinational corporations can get a bigger tax cut.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a reason to use the debt ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
I was saying, back during the Iraq War, Barack Obama voted against raising the debt ceiling because of the Iraq expense, what we were doing, spending all that money on the Iraq War
Mm-hmm.
and then putting it on that supplemental budget. Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, no, I think it can be used. I don't think there should be a debt ceiling. It's
Mm-hmm.
stupid,
Mm-hmm.
but if it's there,
Right.
we have to use everything we can,
Right.
every tool.
Every tool and
Yeah.
every voice that comes out as an act of resistance,
Hmm.
we have got, like that is going to be what is going to, I think, break through and make a difference. If enough people are out there calling the shit
Amplifying
out
it.
and
Yep.
amplifying it, and we're out there on social media, calling it out and amplifying it, that can potentially break through.
Well, right now, I'll tell you that I've seen the Democrats are pissed off about this
Mhm.
pardoning of all
Yeah,
these people
yeah,
that attacked our government
yeah.
violently,
Hmm.
and they have been out there. What's his name? McGovern
Hmm.
and
Yep.
Raskin and
Yeah,
AOC and
right. And
uh,
I don't think we should be letting it go.
no, I don't think so either. That's another thing that we do bad
Yeah,
is not is just stick to something like that.
yeah,
Like, continue to bring it up, continue to drive it
yeah.
home.
That's
It's
the Benghazi. This is our fucking
Yeah, this is
Benghazi,
their and this is
right?
real.
And this is real. See, that's the thing. Like we were talking about it this week. We don't have to make shit up. I mean, they
No,
make shit
we
up. They
we got truth on our
manufacture
side.
things.
Yep,
Yeah. They have whistleblowers that they
aren't
can't produce.
whistleblowers.
Yeah.
They're not whistleblowers.
Yeah,
They're
or yeah,
Chinese spies or Russian
right.
spies or
Right.
people in prison that have a axe to grind. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
This should not never go away.
I
This
remember
should be the
no
thing
that
that
we
bites them in the ass over and
and
over
over
and
again. We
over
should, and every
again.
time one of those people commit a crime,
Right.
every time they're arrested,
Right.
it's Donald Trump's fault. Anything that
Hmm.
goes wrong, actually, we should start blaming Donald Trump. Egg
Yeah.
prices are to average $10.
Hmm.
Donald Trump hasn't cut prices for eggs,
Hmm.
housing prices, all everything.
Right.
If we have another drone, situation, what the
Hmm.
hell is he doing? Is he spying on us? Because
Right.
most of the time it's projection with them, so they probably are
Right.
spying on us.
Right. Right.
You know,
Exactly.
I and
Exactly.
I think about like during the campaign when we had what's his name, the governor of she's I can't even think not man what was he the governor, the vice presidential nominee? I can't believe I don't remember his name. You have to cut this
Oh,
out.
walls. Oh, no.
Cut that out. Thank you,
Okay.
Jimmy.
Hold on.
Well,
Oh, you mean Tim Walz?
Tim Waltz. Tim Waltz. Oh my God, I don't know what's wrong with me. But Tim Waltz, yes, when he made that speech, it was fabulous. When he was talking about, that JD Vance, and
Mhm.
the couch thing, and he made kind of
Yeah.
an allusion to that, and everybody
Couch fucker
laughed
that
and
he
thought it
likes
was
to
hilarious.
fuck couches. That
Yeah,
is,
fucking
yeah.
couches. And
Yeah.
so people, and yet, oh my God, you can't believe you said that.
Hmm.
You heard the mainstream media, they were just appalled that he would say
Hmm.
something that wasn't true, even though it was kind of funny. It was a meme that we were,
Hmm.
people were
You know what I heard?
latching onto.
You know what I heard too?
What?
That JD Vance fucks couches.
I heard about that too. I
Uh-huh.
don't know. Could be true. He looks like the
Hmm.
type.
He
But
does look like
he
if
just
I
got
had
the
to
type.
if I had to like pick out like okay, who's the couch fucker?
It would
JD
be
Vance.
JD
That
Vance.
would be
Yeah,
JD Vance.
absolutely.
Hmm.
But my point is that they
That
dropped that.
he fucks couches?
Even that they
Oh.
dropped that. Tim
Oh.
Waltz didn't ever talk about that again. He never made that joke again. Remember the thing about how they're weird?
Yeah.
Donald Trump is weird. JD Vance is weird. That was funny and it was true.
Right.
But they just dropped that because that was kind of mean. We shouldn't be doing that.
Mm-mm.
Why do we always do that?
And,
These people were talking about Benghazi for years.
mm-hmm.
They're still
Exactly.
mad about the Civil War.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, this is not the time. This is not the time. And so, in all of our capacities, however
Yep.
we can do it, we need to be doing it. We have got to
Yep.
be resisting and
We
speaking
cannot
truth
worry
to
about
power.
hurting people's feelings
We
or getting
cannot.
people upset
Mm-mm.
or
No,
not being, nice or whatever.
no.
The-
Every chance I get, I'm gonna, and honestly, this is something that even Republican voters uh can't change the subject and can't run away from the fact that he pardoned over
I
1,500
know.
violent terrorists that smeared shit all over the Capitol and beat
They
and
Yep.
killed people and we're in jail serving terms for seditious conspiracy. The heads of the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys. Seditious conspiracy. That is a very difficult case to be made. It's very difficult.
They're convicted by a jury of their peers. They were
And
convicted
by
by juries.
exactly.
They
And so
admitted
you
it. A
know
lot
what?
of them
I
admitted it.
mean, and no, go to a family party or picnic this summer or whatever, and have one of your Republican voting friends or family try and bring up anything political in front of you, and just go to that and ask them
Yeah.
about that. Put them on the
Yep.
defense. We need to bring this shit up every chance we get. This has got to be our Benghazi.
How do they defend that?
Yeah.
It's not even a Benghazi. It's not like anybody did
No,
it
but
to-
you know what I mean? Like and all I'm saying is bringing it up over, not letting
Yes.
it go.
Yes, don't let it
That's
go.
what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm not comparing it. There's no comparison, in substance at all. But what I'm saying is, but just don't let it go.
Yeah, don't. And you know what? I mean, these people are the biggest snowflakes, honestly. Remember when they had a fit that Joe Biden, they said, called them garbage people? They are garbage people. I'm sorry. They
Right.
are garbage people. These are the people who voted for the guy that just released 1,500 violent criminals.
Right. Yeah.
Who is an adjudicated rapist.
Yep.
Who's a convicted felon. This is the guy.
Right.
They put in the White House to be the most powerful man in the world.
That's it. Yep. They don't have a moral leg
Leg
to
stand on.
Not, yeah.
Absolutely not. And so don't, and yet they're gonna squeal like, oh my God, can't believe you would say that. Or they're acting like that now. Did you hear MAGA Mike Johnson, the speaker, rolled his eyes when somebody asked him about that? About
they can roll their eyes all they want. Go ahead, roll your fucking eyes. It doesn't make it any less true. And that is definitely not a reason to drop it. Keep doing it.
Don't drop
it. Don't drop
it. Ask them what they would do if those were 1,500 BLM members who had attacked the Capitol.
Exactly.
And done the things that those people did.
Exactly.
Of course, I called my congressman, by the way.
What is?
And I asked him about that. And I asked him if he had a statement to make about that. And he didn't have a statement. And I said, well, I guess that means that he's okay with it, right? 1,500 criminals being released, like 600 of them violent, and they confessed. It's on tape,
right?
And
convicted, had due process.
Yes, due process, complete. Yes, exactly. And so we've got 1,500 criminals and running around now on our streets, and probably. And by the way, they're already starting to threaten the January 6th committee members, judges.
Yeah.
Prosecutors,
because we know how much they care about stopping crime and keeping criminals out of the population, because they have to go after all of the criminals that are illegally, right? We know how much they care about law and order.
They're so concerned with law and order. Yes.
Yeah.
No, they're not. Law and order, what it means to Republicans is black people. Right. That's what cracking down on black people.
Right. Yep.
It doesn't mean, because obviously these 1,500 criminals were white guys and white women, few white women.
Exactly.
So they couldn't, so they're not afraid.
Right. And guess what? In every single one of those cases and oh, by the way, he just granted clemency to the two cops that killed that young person. What the heck? I can't remember their names.
I heard about that, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, who didn't get due process for the suspicion of a counterfeit $20 bill? Oh,
yeah, that's right. George Floyd.
Yeah. That wasn't due.
Oh, the guy selling Lucy's. What was his name in New York?
Yeah. Oh,
that guy. Yeah, that guy was a dangerous criminal selling those Lucy cigarettes. Yeah, that guy didn't get any due process. He got the death penalty.
Yep.
It's just unbelievable, this whole situation that's going on right now, and the fact that these people are in power. It's just surreal.
Freddie Gray, right?
Freddie Gray. No, that was a different one. That was the one that picked up in the cop, like the van. They used to call them paddy wagons.
Oh, Irish people. Yeah.
Um,
It gave him the
and
rough
the
ride.
Rough
That's
Ride,
right.
yeah, and he
Right.
died. Yeah, that
Yeah.
guy. There's been plenty of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, but these poor guys, oh my God, they were treated so horribly. They had iPads. They each had iPads, but they were being treated so horribly. Oh, the food was. They were bringing in organic food for these
Mm-hmm.
some of these people who said they couldn't just eat regular prison food. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, remember? I'm sure you heard about how terribly they were being treated, right?
Eric Garner. Sorry,
Eric
that's
Garner.
gonna
Eric
drive
Garner
you
was at
crazy.
Lucy's. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was. Yeah, his
Yeah.
daughter. Did his daughter die recently? Right after that, a couple of years ago, or his
Yeah.
daughter Erica.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and it's just
Anna
unbelievable.
Taylor, yeah, but yeah, that's then, then they're all for back the blue and supporting the police, and by the way, Donald Trump wants to give police that are in those situations immunity, granting them immunity.
Yes, this
So,
is what I found
hmm
very disturbing when I thought about like these people like Snoop Dogg and Nelly and Soulja
yeah,
Boy
yeah,
playing for him. These were people that supposedly, and they talked about, and as a matter of fact, some of them even talked about Snoop Dogg talked about, oh, he was mocking any black person that a performer that would play for Donald Trump. It's so weird. There's a recording of it. Maybe you could find
yeah,
that and put it in the podcast about, he's mocking him for,
hmm
for anybody that would play for him, like
right,
and so
and
here he is.
rightfully so, rightfully
Yes,
so.
and so he's out there doing that, I
Yeah,
guess, for the money.
I don't,
But yeah, these are people, and what Donald Trump is saying, and I just can't believe these people, the entertainers that would just
yeah.
turn their back on their communities that they say, that they spoke out for so many times, and then just have them.
Well,
Uh,
sure. And I mean, and the reality is, I mean, yeah, I mean, these people, I mean, Snoop Dogg, I mean, he has broader appeal too. I mean, a lot of he's kind of
he's
beloved.
on the morning. He was in the Olympics. He was all over on
He's
the
been, yeah, he's been beloved. I mean, and so it's like it's just a betrayal, I think, yeah, to the community, that he came, comes from, but it also is it's just a
It's
betrayal in
disappointing.
general. It's a
Verse. Yeah, it
betrayal
really is.
as an American, and I
Well,
mean,
yes, I know, but in that case, the community came from where the hip hop rap community where
hmm
the songs like NWA came out of.
hmm
Fuck the police,
hmm
and things like that. I mean, there was a lot of um songs about police brutality.
right.
And so to hear that they're
Yeah,
playing for a guy that wants to get rid of any kind of complete immunity from being
right,
held responsible
right,
for whatever they do,
right,
whether it's killing somebody, beating them to death, beating them, whatever.
right.
I
Yeah.
just, and we,
Yeah, it just again, I feel like it's one of those situations where it's people need to understand where we're at. And I've heard people say like, well, Donald Trump, the economy, I mean he put tariffs in before, how that's not going to affect the housing
mm,
market. There were tariffs before and we had a great market because we had a huge, like in real estate, huge
surplus or, yeah.
numbers in as far low inventory, but like everybody was busy. Everybody was
Mm,
busy because the interest rates were so low. But this is the thing. What people, I think a lot of people, Anita, didn't
mm-hmm.
understand was they were like, okay, yeah, we lived through one Trump administration. So, okay, yeah, he's in, but you know what? We'll
Oh
survive.
no, a lot of people felt that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
So how
we'll
bad could it
survive
be?
it. We've been there
Yeah.
before, whatever. It's like whatever.
I just remember it
Not
was a great economy. That's what they
yeah,
think. They think I remember it was a great economy because it was
right.
Obama's economy,
Right,
by the way.
right. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not like anybody died. Oh,
Yeah. Well, they don't, for some
no.
reason, they give them
For
a complete
yeah,
mulligan.
yes, for some reason, over 1 million Americans, dying of a highly
COVID.
contagious
Yeah.
virus that could have been contained.
Yeah.
Nah,
That,
never mind. Nothing
no.
to see there. No, no.
That just
Yeah,
amazes me every time
I
I think
know.
about it.
I
I
know.
know.
It's insane. But anyway, so, the other thing before, we wrap this up, I did want to talk about was, I don't know about you, but um again, like doing things differently. Last time when we saw Donald Trump, we were talking about, we couldn't believe all these things that were dependent on rules and norms.
Mm-hmm.
And now, what have we witnessed in the last several months, year or two, where, Elon Musk
Oh,
buys
we haven't even
up,
talked about that.
yeah,
Yeah.
buys up Twitter,
Yeah.
um, changes all of the terms, does what he does, comes out, uh, speaking white Christian nationalist talk, and then he comes out
And
and
we
in the
got
last
Nazis on there. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah,
kind of thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And then he comes back, comes out in, kind of the 10th hour and starts, openly supporting Donald Trump and campaigning for Donald Trump. And then,
Oh,
oh,
at his
by the
rallies. He
way,
was there.
yeah,
Yeah.
he was at the
Hmm.
rallies and then he
On
buys
stage.
the,
Hmm.
yeah, he
Now
buys
he's in
the
the White House, by the way. Go
Right,
ahead.
exactly. He's in the White House, and we get reports that he has government contracts, and we have reports that his Starlink his equipment was used in some of the
Voting,
the
counting, vote
vote
counting.
counting, right, and things like that. And then we have people like Rupert Murdoch, so where these people are foreign born. And I don't know if
Peter
Rupert
Thiel.
Murdoch, yeah, Peter Thiel, Rupert Murdoch is a citizen, but he's been propagandizing, been able to come
We were
in
to,
and buy
from
up
Australia. Yeah.
right, exactly, and buy up all the media that he's been able to. I mean, years ago, I know he owned the Chicago Sun-Times, so all of this media that he was able to buy up, and then he's been propagandizing and lying and radicalizing a segment of our population. And now here we have Elon Musk, who came in illegally, did not have
Now
the documentation. Now he's a citizen. But what is the method? What is the mechanism when something like this happens and it is very obvious?
we
I mean,
need a
this man,
tough, well, no, we need a tough DOJ. We need,
yes.
next time we need to demand this. We need
Hmm.
somebody to come in and hold somebody like Elon Musk accountable. He should have
Yes.
been stripped of
He,
all those
he, sh-
government
yes,
subsidies
he should
because
have been,
they were making him billions. And yet he was
exactly.
turning off Starlink to Ukraine.
Yes.
Shit like that. I mean, this is bullshit. We should never have allowed him to have all that.
Never.
And government, I mean, from what I understand, he was not even allowed to have a lot of the top secret information because he was so compromised.
Right.
I
So,
mean,
so this is the thing. I mean, in a situation like this, when you see he's having openly going and talking to Vladimir Putin, meeting with Vladimir
oh, that's
Putin,
another thing. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then he
Not just him,
comes,
but all the
yeah.
world leaders that he wanted to talk to. Yeah.
Well, and here's the other thing too, and let's open it up to the Republican Party that have Viktor Orban at
Yeah.
CPAC.
What is happening, people? Why are we not, why are we accepting this?
Right. And why is our
We,
media not screaming about it?
yes,
Why haven't they? Because this
exactly.
has been going on for,
Netanyahu over at
yeah,
Mar-a-Lago.
right.
Come on. I mean, seriously, why are we accepting this? Why is
Yeah,
our media? Because the media is going to fail us. Like I talked about before, the media failed us when it came to Iraq and
right,
Afghanistan. They did.
right.
And we should never have gotten into those wars. But the
Hmm.
media just allowed the lies of the Bush
Right.
administration, to
Yeah.
go, just let them go. Just took them at face value, never
Hmm.
doing any kind of investigative reporting. So I'm not surprised. We have
Right.
to learn this media is not our friend. The
Right.
legacy media is not a friend, and it never will be.
No.
So, I mean, people talk about Walter Cronkite. It was years before Walter Cronkite and legacy media at that time spoke up about Vietnam.
Right.
So, and it had to be, it was the Washington Post that uncovered Watergate, and
Hmm.
that took, I mean, we were lucky to have the two reporters that did the kind of investigative reporting and it got picked up on.
Right.
But for the most part, they have failed us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have to demand more. We have to demand more of our, Department of Justice when we get back in
Right.
the White House. We cannot.
Absolutely.
They have to. Elon
And
Musk should
it's
not be getting government contracts.
no.
Rupert Murdoch should not be allowed
I mean
to actually
that
operate.
where
Yeah,
where was Homeland Security on that one, or who, I mean, really, that is such a huge, I mean,
I know.
obviously
Yeah,
a
I mean,
national security risk
we-
to
like
have that.
TikTok. They
Yeah,
talk about TikTok being a national security, which, for what I understand, if we'd have heard it, there were people that were Democrats that were talking about. If we heard that they were the kind
right.
of risks that we were taking with TikTok and China,
Mm-hmm.
then
Mm-hmm.
that's why they were voting to get rid of
Mm-hmm.
it. But you know, we have t- Elon Musk over here owning Twitter.
Right.
He's not, and he's an American citizen now, but
Mm-hmm.
he's from South Africa. Rupert
Yeah.
Murdoch owns Fox. The,
Diplomatic
how much damage
immunity.
has Fox News done to this
Right.
country?
Right. Right. Exactly. I mean, and and two, and now, of course, Mark Zuckerberg, and there was something that came out that Facebook apparently was hiding advertisements or posts
Hmm.
for abortion drugs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was something that I just heard. I was listening earlier when I was working, that and Michelangelo Signorelli, he was talking about that. So, and there too, Mark Zuckerberg, doing away with
All of
fact
them.
checking. Yeah,
All of them know we have to learn, this is what we have to find the things that divide the Republican Party,
that's right. I
okay?
mean, so if
That's
you're
how we
gonna
attack them.
go
We go after the
after,
oligarchs.
right, if
Yes.
you're gonna go after TikTok, you better be willing to go after Facebook. And I mean, and
Yeah.
now, of course, we're in a point where we can't necessarily do that. But again, the Republican Party, Donald Trump does not have a mandate. He doesn't.
No, but my point is this,
Yeah.
that what we can point out, because
Hmm.
I can already see this is causing a rift within the Republican Party and the MAGA base, okay?
Right, right,
Talk about, nobody elected these oligarchs.
right,
Why does Elon Musk have an office in the White House?
right,
Why is Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk and what's his name, Bill Gates up there on the dais with Donald Trump,
right.
Jeff Bezos?
Yeah. And by the way, Elon Musk may not have had security clearances before, but Donald Trump has just signed
Oh,
an order
yeah.
where he's going to be able to
He
give
gets,
whomever he
yeah,
wants high-level security clearances.
yeah. He's
Yeah.
going to do that anyway. I
Oh
mean, we
yeah.
saw that before. People should
Yeah.
not have gotten security clearance before.
No.
He is just, I mean, but we have to, that's where I think the best attacks are going to come from. If we go after, because there's a MAGA base and they're already wondering about the H-1B1 stuff, right?
Right,
That
right,
Elon Musk wants to have, and Donald Trump has backed him because
right.
they want cheap labor from India and from other countries, right? They don't want to have to
Exactly.
hire Americans that are going to cost more.
Exactly.
So we need to continue to talk about that because
Yep.
it's a problem for them. We need
Yep.
to continue to talk about the fact that Donald Trump is being surrounded by oligarchs while
Mhm.
his own base, the people that spent thousands of dollars to go to the inauguration, were literally left out
Mhm.
in the cold.
Mhm.
And the people that were up on stage with him,
Yeah.
he pretends to be this populist hero,
Right.
and everything he's doing right now is going to hurt his base, and that is so emblematic of what happened at inauguration where he canceled it and had it
Mhm.
indoors, but yet all those billionaires, they were there, they got to go up
Right.
on the stage, and all the
Right.
politicians, and that's were the only people that were there, not you
Yep.
guys, not the
Not
MAGA
you.
base.
Nope.
No,
Mm-mm.
not the people who've been
Mm-mm.
with Donald Trump. Keep voting
Mm-mm.
for him.
Yeah.
Who
He doesn't
stormed the
he doesn't
Capitol.
Yep, he doesn't care about you.
No, he
He
doesn't
gives
care about you. And
two
the
shits
faster
about
you
you.
learn that, the better.
Exactly right. Yep. And now he's walking back, doing anything about, the cost of groceries. We're going to have, a crisis because of the rotting food and then with the tariffs and
Yeah.
everything. So yeah, I mean, and
Oh, but
that,
Jamie Dimon said, Karen. Did
mm,
you hear what Jamie Dimon said? Here's
mm,
another one. Because he understands, he says we don't have to, that inflation, big deal. He's
mm,
going to, if it's for national security, which it's not, how is it for national security?
mm-mm,
Tariffs, right? Or
You know what,
it's
but and you know what, but I'll tell you right now, that is I don't know, maybe I'm being naive, but that is not going to fly. People
no.
aren't going to be like really, it's just like you're going to, you know what? It's for national security that you
Jamie
can't.
Dimon said
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
Goldman
Jamie.
Sachs.
Yeah. He's
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that guy. Exactly.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So yeah, I can remember when Donald
Mhm.
Trump was running the first time,
Mhm.
and there was a bunch of guys, look like MAGAs
Mhm.
out there and attacking Ted Cruz.
Mhm.
And what they were saying was, "Oh, well, your wife works for Goldman Sachs. Donald
Mhm.
Trump works for us. He doesn't need your money."
Mhm.
And now here he is over there with all the billionaire oligarchs.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Democrats need to be pointing that out. These people, this is how much money
Yep.
they have. This is how much
Yep.
money these people have. I mean, it's one thing that these guys, follow their demagogue, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't vote for these other guys, right? Yeah.
Nope. They didn't
No.
get one vote. And
No.
guess what Donald Trump's doing? Well, he's sitting up there with all these billionaires surrounding him. He's ripping you off. There are
Yep.
people that are losing their life savings with that stupid shit coin that he's doing, which
Right.
it's a meme coin or whatever. It's not really a
Yeah.
coin, but
No.
you invest in it and you don't get anything except,
Mhm.
you lose all your money because it's
Yep.
dropping like crazy. Him
Yep.
and Melania did one too.
Yeah.
So the media asked him about that. Is that
Mhm.
okay for you to be doing that?
Yep.
And he said, why not? How much should I make? And they're going, well, you made like
Mhm.
whatever billion. And he goes, well, why shouldn't I? That's nothing to these guys. They make billions of dollars. Why shouldn't I?
Right.
He's already
Yeah.
been inaugurated. And this is
I
what he's
mean,
saying.
and think about it. Like you think about Trump, that was what, $25 million he had to
Yeah.
settle that one for. That's
Hmm.
like nothing. That's a drop in the
It's
bucket
to what he's doing to you
compared to
now.
compared to how much he's going to defraud all of these morons that
Oh
voted
my
for him.
God. It's
And
a
they're,
smash and
yep,
grab.
yep, sure is.
That's what he's going to be doing. They're going to be stealing everything that isn't nailed down from this country. I'm telling you
Yep,
guys, they want to get rid of your Social Security. They want to
yep.
get your Medicare, your Medicaid,
Mm-hmm,
your Affordable Care Act, your ACA, all of
mm-hmm,
these things. One of the things that he did was
mm-hmm,
he revoked the $2,000 out of
mm-hmm.
pocket limit for Medicare recipients that Biden put in place.
Yeah,
He revoked that.
yeah,
So in other words, he's raising the cost of your prescriptions. He's not lowering prices. He's raising them for
yeah.
you.
You better clear out your man cave because grandma's moving back in with
Oh
you.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Grandma's gonna be moving in because guess what? Grandma's gonna be paying a lot more for her prescriptions and
Yep.
grandma's gonna lose her social security and Medicare.
Yeah, but I
Okay?
hope you have an extra room for her and
Yeah,
grandpa.
exactly.
Yeah, it's you
Yeah.
that I think it's the best way we can attack them. We can,
Hmm.
because it's true.
Yep.
These people, I don't know let me just say, I have told Karen, I hope he does the tariffs.
Hmm.
I hope he does. I hate to say this, but the mass deportations, because it's going to
Hmm.
hurt people that are, that shouldn't, that it's going to, be upsetting.
Hmm.
And those people are going to get hurt.
Yep.
But the truth is, Republican voters are not going to learn any other way
Right.
because Democrats continue to bail them out, to save them, to save
Right.
people from feeling the worst of Republican policies.
Right.
Because we have bailed them out after the financial crisis, right?
And it doesn't get you because I mean Democrats can bail them out and then Democrats don't get the credit.
Don't
You
get
know,
the credit.
American voters don't sit there and say
Biden,
like,
yeah,
"Thank
Biden.
God the Democrats came in
No, they
and
never say that. It's
saved." No, they
Republicans
no,
will say they'll blame it on us, even though we're
yep,
the ones who bailed them out. Like after
right.
after Trump completely mishandled the
Hmm.
COVID crisis, and Biden had
Hmm.
to come in because we
Hmm.
were losing millions of jobs, and
Hmm.
the stock market was crashing. Everything was a mess. Biden came in and saved it, right?
Yeah,
Same thing with Obama after the
right.
financial crisis with Bush,
Yep,
and he came in and he saved it. No, Democrats will never get the credit. They will still
never.
say that it was all our fault.
That's right.
But so yeah, the point
They're
is
gonna blame you for
they're
everything
gonna
anyway. So you know what? Bring on the hurt. Do not
yep,
cooperate. Obstruct
yep.
everything.
Let people
Honestly,
feel it because not gonna vote. They need to stop voting for Republicans.
that's right. And then message the shit out of it. about how the Republican Party has done this to you. Donald Trump and the Republican Party have done this to you. And so on that note, that is the assignment. Understand the assignment.
Yes,
Democratic
the
leadership.
assignment is, you know what? I'm sorry. We're all going to have to feel a little bit. We're going to have to feel some of the pain.
Right.
But guess what? They have to feel it. Well, I was telling Karen, it's like, an alcoholic has to hit rock bottom.
Right.
Right?
Right.
You can't save them until then.
Right. Yeah.
You have to let them hit rock bottom or they're never going to learn.
That's right. That's right. So, all right. Well, great talking to you, Anita.
Great talking to you, Karen.
And we're all going to be strapping in because it's going to be a
strap
long,
in. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Very bumpy ride. So
Very bumpy ride if we survive.
Thanks everybody out there. Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Thanks everybody out there for listening. And
keep your chin up.
Keep your chin up. We're all here. Don't forget. Don't isolate.
Yes, we are.
Don't isolate. Find your people.
No.
Build community. And do what you can do. Change the things that you can change. The other stuff, we're going to have to pace ourselves and just let it
Except
go.
the things you cannot change.
Yes. God grant
Somebody
me.
said that.
Yes. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. The courage.
The wisdom.
The courage.
The courage to change the things I can.
Things I can, and the wisdom,
to know the difference. Everybody's ever been to AA knows that.
I haven't been to AA.
I was
Al-Anon.
No, I haven't either, but my mother had that on the wall. But I know that AA
no, it is. It really is. It's words to live by, and I think we're all going to have to be calling on some sort of mantra and something to keep us calm and so we don't stroke out.
And alcohol.
No, I'm not. You know what? I'll tell you, I'm staying away from it anyway.
I am too. I was just kidding. Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs.
Don't drink excessively.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Not worth it. Okay.
It's not. All right.
Love to everybody. Love you. Bye.
Okay. Bye.